Well, big breaking news coming in this evening as a fallout of the Ambani's case. Mumbai Police CP Parambir Singh has been shunted out. He's been transferred now to the Home Guard department. He's been shifted and appointed the DG Home Guards. In his place comes in Hemant Nagrale. Remember, the Mumbai Police Commissioner has been under severe scrutiny after the conduct of the police in a case that has now led to many embarrassing questions about not just the role of the police but also the Maharashtra government. Okay, we're going to be joined by Sandhya Gora, Mayuresh Ganpate on this big breaking news story. The Ambani's explosive case scare has now seen the shunting out of the Mumbai Police Commissioner Parambir Singh. He has now been transferred and he's been appointed to the DG Home Guards, and in his place comes in Hemant Nagrale. Over the past few days, Sandhya now with us. Sandhya, over the past few days, we have seen a lot of speculation, a lot of murmurs about the police commissioner's transfer. In fact, at a number of press conferences, the various allies of the Mahavikas Aghadi were even asked about this. They stoutly said no such plan on the card. But it's very clear that the embarrassment of this case was far too large and there had to be some heads rolling.
Yes, absolutely, Aarti. And this is in my career of covering crime as far as Mumbai city is concerned. For the second time, I have seen such an embarrassing change of post of Mumbai Police Commissioner. First, it was Rakesh Maria in 2015, and he had to lose his position as Mumbai Police Commissioner because of Sheena Bora murder case. It was again an extremely embarrassing situation for Mumbai Police and Maharashtra government. Though at that time BJP was ruling the state, was governing the state. For the second time, it is happening now in 2021. This time again, another embarrassing transfer which has taken place, and it is an embarrassment. And this time it's Mumbai CP Parambir Singh, who was appointed as the commissioner of Mumbai Police last year only in February. And those who know Parambir Singh, they actually know he was somebody, Mr. Singh was somebody who actually was very keen about being posted as Mumbai CP. He had plans, and his ambitions of becoming the CP were never hidden from anybody. He actually never made any attempt to hide them as well. And this time, within a span of it's just a year, and once again we are seeing that another embarrassing transfer has taken place, and this has happened in the light of Ambani bomb threat case,
Right.
which actually started on 25th of February, and now on 17th of March we are witnessing this transfer.
Right, Sandhya, of course, for all our viewers, I do want to, it's a complicated case and there are several layers in this case, and we're going to try and unpeel each of them over the course of the next few minutes. Sandhya, stay with us. Mirana's managing editor Vinay Tiwari also joining us. Vinay, Sandhya was talking about Rakesh Maria, another high-profile police commissioner, losing his job over a crime case. Now, in this particular case, while there is a huge fallout and huge embarrassment for the Mumbai police, leading to several questions about their own conduct, the conduct of their own cadre, the embarrassment also extends to the Maharashtra government.
Oh, it absolutely does. And in fact, the very fact that they have taken a decision to now move him out is an admission of the fact that this was embarrassing the government immensely, something that we were expecting for a while, simply because of the nature of the revelations that were coming in from the NIA investigation. Also remember that one key question that the NIA still hasn't answered, and which is still being probed and possibly will have some answers going forward, is that why was this conspiracy planned at all? Clearly, no police officer of the rank of API, Assistant Police Inspector, would plan something as dramatic and as bizarre as trying to plant explosives outside India's biggest industrialist house without any ulterior motive. Now, whether that ulterior motive involved some other officers, whether there was something else that happened, is something that is still being probed. And clearly, the government is in absolutely no mind now to create or have any other embarrassment. Remember, if you remember, Aarti, even we had raised this question on air that when the NIA had first registered this case and had called Mr. Sachin Waze for investigations or questioning. Despite that, Mr. Sachin Waze had made more than one visit to the Commissioner's office in full public view. We had visuals and videos of him arriving at the Commissioner's office and meeting him. That was not just bad optics, that was just simple bad strategy. If your person is being investigated for his involvement in a crime, the very image of him going and meeting the top officer of that department is not the best optics the government could have shown. I was surprised that the commissioner actually even allowed Mr. Sachin Vaze to come and meet him. This is the time when your neutrality and your perception of neutrality is even more important. Even if the neutrality was absolutely correct on paper, a perception is more important. Also remember that you used the word, a very important word, when you were asking me this question about, much like Mr. Rakesh Maria, Mr. Parambir Singh being a high-profile officer. And I think the larger lesson for all government and police officers is also to avoid this term called high-profile, because clearly there is a trick or two that they miss in trying to be maybe more than larger than life and trying to investigate cases or carry out operations in a manner which possibly gets questioned. In fact, even in Mr. Parambir Singh's own case, his own conduct and role has been questioned even by the courts in the past. The Supreme Court was extremely upset about the manner in which some of the press briefings and media briefings were held in the Bhima Koregaon case, for instance. So there have been a series of, misjudgments that have been made by the Mumbai police. This particular incident is something which still is being investigated, but is possibly the most bizarre case that we've seen in the last several decades or so in India. Mm-hmm. And the fact that the government of the state decided to back an officer initially, at least,
yes,
is possibly the most embarrassing part of this whole episode.
In fact, Vinay, I was just going to come to that now. Parambir's scalp has been claimed. He's as a fallout of this entire case. Not just did Sachin Vaze have an audience with Parambir Singh over and over again, and as you were saying, this is something at Mirror Now we've questioned, but also on the floor of the House, the Chief Minister stood up and defended Sachin Vaze, or outside the Assembly, we've seen a number of Sena MPs and ministers defend Sachin Vaze. Samna has defended him. There has also been some talk of a change of guard in the Home Ministry of Maharashtra. Again, yesterday when Sharad Pawar was asked about both these changes in the Home Ministry as well as the Police Commissioner, he said, oh, this is news to me. This was something in the offing. Many people in Mumbai were talking about that the Police Commissioner is perhaps going to get the boot. Politically, has the damage been limited with his exit, or is there also going to be a political scalp you see coming soon?
Well, I mean, they may have limited it from now onwards because they've obviously now moved him out, and I will expect some bit of sanity to return to the way Mumbai police operates. But I do believe that some amount of damage has been done in terms of perception simply because, not just this case, but in a series of incidents where either the government has been under very bad advisement or they haven't understood the importance and the value of optics. I mean, we saw the same during the Sushant Singh Rajput case, for instance, where strategic mistakes were made, and it simply allowed the opposition parties to take advantage of that incident, as well as even outsmart them on strategy. I mean, even in the legal aspect of that case, the very fact that the Supreme Court of India ruled in favor of the CBI right to register a case, even though it was not in their jurisdiction, so to speak, and the crime had not happened in Bihar. That is a question of just legally being outsmarted by the other side. And in this modern era, when everything happens in full public glory, and the opposition will not miss any opportunity to take advantage of a mistake you may make, it is equally important to have smartness in governance and also understand strategy, importance of optics. And in all those counts, the Maharashtra government has been found wanting. This is the second time that they've landed themselves into a controversy where they have mishandled the case. Clearly, the police force is a disciplined, uniformed, hierarchical organization. And it works on the concept of effective supervision. That is how efficient police forces work always. It is very difficult to believe that an officer of the rank of API can enjoy so much of access and clout and was working on many, many important cases and also something as sensational as this without any supervision. And if he was, and if some of his activities were actually without supervision or without any instruction, then he was simply acting like a rogue cop, which must also be dealt with by a senior officer or a police officer. Now, instead of doing that, if a government decides at the highest level to back the officer simply because they're falling into a trap being laid out by the opposition, it is simply bad and immature strategy. And I think on that ground, the Maharashtra government has missed a trick or two. They should have been smarter than trying to defend an officer who had a lot to answer for. And now, in the process, even his supervisory officer, by not exactly maintaining a one-arm distance when the probe began by the NIA, has landed himself into a controversy and ended up damaging the credibility of a police force, Aarti, that arguably is one of the best in the country. I mean, there is no question about that. that the Mumbai police has enjoyed a reputation of being a very good police force for several decades. And these two incidents really haven't really helped.
Well,
in improving
that's
these.
absolutely true, Vinay, and all for a man, Sachin Vaze, who has such a controversial past. And I want to just join Santya on this as well. Sachin Vaze, Santya, is a man who's very famous in Mumbai's journalistic and political circles. But for our viewers outside Mumbai and outside Maharashtra, tell us about this man who is at the center of this entire controversy, whose involvement has now, resulted in the shunting out of the Mumbai Police Commissioner. Who knows, there could perhaps be more heads that are going to roll soon.
Swati, suspended cop Sachin Vaze started his career in 1990. He was posted in Maoist-affected Gadchiroli region. Then he was brought to Thane, after Thane, Mumbai. And then he became a part of Pradeep Sharma gang. Pradeep Sharma group. Pradeep Sharma himself, who himself was infamous for being an encounter specialist. Sachin Vaze actually took that reputation. Before Sachin Vaze, it was Daya Nayak who was said to be extremely close to Pradeep Sharma, having his own separate cabin, and the rivalry between Sachin Vaze and Daya Nayak was something which was known in the journalistic circle and the police circle. But after Daya Nayak and Pradeep Sharma actually kind of parted ways, Sachin Vaze filled that vacuum. And after that, he never really looked back till the time Khwaja Yunus encounter case happened in December 2003. Khwaja Yunus was arrested on the charges of being a part of Ghatkopar bomb blast. Sachin Vaze was part of the team which made the arrest. But early January 2004, they claimed, the team which arrested Khwaja Yunus claimed that Khwaja Yunus, while being taken to Aurangabad, escaped. And but Khwaja Yunus's family, his mother for that matter, approached the court. She fought a long battle. And then Bombay High Court actually did ask the police authorities to file a murder complaint. And it was believed that Khwaja Yunus was actually allegedly murdered in a fake encounter. Sachin Vaze and other cops were arrested. They were also suspended. Sachin Vaze actually was behind bars for 58 days before he got the bail. He actually himself resigned from the force as well. After that, he joined Shiv Sena, and he was actually also a part of media circle. Aarti, he was not only a consulting editor with TV9, but he used to appear as a guest, as an expert on many channels. He also wrote a couple of books. One was actually interestingly on Sheenapura murder case itself, and one was on 26/11 Mumbai attacks. And during his suspension period, because he was suspended for 17 years, he also actually tried his hand in multimedia marketing. His website called Labhari and other digital portals were also there. And in 2020, when actually the coronavirus situation was at its peak, to everyone's surprise, Sachin Vaze was reinstated.
Right.
In fact, that decision was also challenged by his mother in Bombay High Court, and replying to that, Mumbai police in an affidavit said that they want all the hands on the desk right now. That's why they have reinstated Sachin Vaze. And since then, June 2020 till this case, Mansukh Hiran case actually happened, once again, there was no looking back for Sachin Vaze. He was at the peak of his career. Actually, he had all the high-profile cases. It all started with fake social media followers story. After that, it was Dilip Chhabadiya TRP case.
True.
And now, in fact, this case also, when Ambani bomb threat case was with Mumbai police, at that time also Sachin Vaze was the one who got this case. So, and in fact, as you were talking about him getting an audience with CP, he always had a direct audience with CP. Those who were present in those journalists who used to be in CP compound can easily tell that how often, multiple times a day, Sachin Vaze used to have meetings with the CP himself.
Right.
So he was somebody who actually in this last 9 months actually had a reputation of handling the most high-profile cases in Mumbai police, and somebody who cannot be taken lightly because he has direct connections with the upper ranks.
Well, and today he finds himself behind bars. Vinay, a man for his official designation, who's wielded a lot of power and influence, handled a number of high-profile cases. Vinay, I'm going to come to you in just a minute, but Ram Kadam of the BJP joins us for more now. Mr. Kadam, is this decision enough? Is the sacking of Parambir Singh enough for you? What more does the BJP want?
See, basically, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can. Please go ahead.
Yeah. See, there are 2 points. Since last 20 days, we were demanding that this all links goes to the leaders who are sitting there in the power in Maharashtra. Because the openly Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Uddhav Thackeray, he defended Waze aggressively in the assembly. Not only CM, his entire party, his alliance, two partners, the whole government of the system was supporting Mr. Waze. They are trying to protect him. Everyone knows that. The question is, putting all the responsibility to the CP of Mumbai is not enough. There are leaders who are still sitting in the government. We want to reveal their names. The Maharashtra government should conduct the inquiry and their names should be revealed.
Well, Mr. Kadam, who are you hinting at? You're saying there are more people in the government who are sitting...
Yeah, of course. There are several leaders who are involved with Mr. Waze. Waze was earlier Shiv Sainik. His partners are Shiv Sena leaders, and the way Shiv Sena was behaving, the way the Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray aggressively defend him, it shows that they're trying to protect him. Our question is why the whole entire government was trying to protect him. And if they want to take the resignation of CP, why they took 20 days? After 20 days, they did it. This is extremely appalling. We demand to Maharashtra government, whoever the leaders are involved in this sinister plot, their names should be revealed. The Maharashtra government is fear that Mr. Waze should not reveal those names. That's the reason why they were behaving like they are the spokesperson of Mr. Waze.
Mm-hmm. Well, Mr. Kadam, I appreciate the fact that you're speaking to Mirror now. Thank you so much for that. It is an issue that the BJP has been taking up very aggressively. We've lost that line with Ram Kadam as well. Vinay, if I can come back to you on this case. Sandhya was telling us about Sachin Waze and his controversial and his colourful past. Now, the fact is, and you did mention this earlier when you were talking, is this a case of a lone wolf, or is there a case of, a few rogue policemen who are working in conjunction with him? Either way, at Mirror Now itself, we've been highlighting almost every day about the fact that there was a very sinister and a calculated cover-up from day one by Sachin Waze, many of which would not have been possible perhaps for him to be acting purely in isolation.
Yes, absolutely. And look, I mean, just before I answer the question, there's one very important point that I needed to make because Mr. Ram Kadam raised that issue. And I'm not responding this because Mr. Kadam raised it, but because this is something that we've seen happening now in more than one instance. And I really do believe the time has now come to have a very hard-coded law on that issue, which is this. You should not and cannot allow a situation where a serving police officer who's donned the uniform at any stage be allowed to take discharge from a service, join a political party, and then come back and be reinstated. Policing needs to work on the principle of a perception of neutrality. We've seen the same thing in Bihar when Mr. Gupteshwar Pandey had actually left the service and joined the JDU and then came back into active service and was made the DGP. Something similar has happened here as well, obviously at a much lower rank. In API, actually officially joined the Shiv Sena and then was brought back into the service. That's something that just cannot be allowed because that's not something that helps the perception of the police not being neutral, and it adds to the grist of mill of rumors and all kinds of innuendos that the opposition will level. On your specific question, there is no doubt about that. That the biggest mystery, and for me there are two big question marks that have not been answered. That if an officer of this nature has conducted an operation like this, why would he do that? There has to be a motive behind why somebody would want to place a car filled with explosives outside India's biggest and richest industrialist house. There has to be a reason for it. There has to be a motive for this conspiracy. That is part A. And even more important than that is the fact that one person involved in this case is now dead. His family deserves to know the answers on why they've lost their loved one. You have a businessman who died. Whether this was a suicide or a murder, the police is treating it as a murder because now you have an FIR on that for murder. That answer still needs to be found as well. So it is not just a question of a simple officer going rogue. This is also a question of a man having lost his life in somebody's grand design to carry out something nefarious or something very shady for which we have no answers. And I think the most honorable thing that the government can do currently is to find out why this conspiracy was hatched and why did somebody come up with this plan and who all were involved in hatching this conspiracy. Because until you find that answer, this will remain an eternal mystery on the logic of why somebody would want to place an explosive, and in the process, a man would lose his life and whose body would be found in a creek. I mean, there can't be anything more serious and more damaging than that, Aarti.
Well, that is true, Vinay, and we want to also, for our viewers, because this is a case, as I was telling Santya a short while ago, one with so many layers in it, and we want to try and unpeel and try and explain this to our viewers as much as possible. Vinay, let's just go back and rewind a bit to the day where these gelatin sticks were found outside Ambani's residence, one of the most high-profile areas in Mumbai, where you can, tight security, as you can imagine, on the intervening night of the 24th of February. At that time, when this was found, it was highly unusual to find 20 gelatin sticks outside Asia's, second richest man's residence.
Yes, I mean, absolutely. I mean, look, in fact, everything about this case has been very unusual. The very fact that somebody has left a car with gelatin sticks and no other explosive, the devices that you need to actually make it into a bomb told us that it was a kind of a threat or a kind of a message or a mischief that somebody was attempting. Now, let's also be very clear that access to gelatin sticks is not very easy. I mean, gelatin sticks are used as an explosive device in the mining industry pretty extensively. So there is pilferage. It is a controlled explosive, so you need a license for buying and purchasing gelatin sticks. So it is not available freely off the shelf. Somebody with access to some, men and material will be able to get gelatin sticks, and somebody was able to get 20 of them. That was part one. Obviously, the first part of the investigation would have been to find out whose car it was. Now there, the first twist came in when we found out that this car was actually belonged to a businessman who reported it missing or stolen on a particular day, and then there's an FIR to that matter. Then, curiously, we also found a letter which was written in very poor English, which actually ended up sounding like a threat to Mr. Ambani and saying all kinds of things in that letter. And then, now from what the NIA investigation suggests, all of this now appeared to have been a plan which was hatched by a policeman who not only first committed this act of doing something as mischievous as this, but then made a series of attempts to cover it up. In fact, the NIA today now says that even the private agency that was hired to investigate a so-called a threat letter that was uploaded on Telegram was traced to a convict, a terror charge convict in Tihar jail. Now, it so turns out that was not accurate, and that itself was a part of the cover-up operation. So here is a situation where an officer has been accused of not only commanding and carrying out a very bizarre incident like this, but then systematically misleading his own police force and planting evidence or manipulating evidence to throw investigation leads off. This is a very serious issue, and I really do believe that the Maharashtra government should not stop at just transferring the commissioner or any other officer, but there should be a very deep-seated inquiry into why it and how and who did it.
Well, Vinay, I think we'll have to see whether that happens, because they themselves have plenty to answer for, and a huge embarrassment for them, which they can't really distance themselves from either. Vinay Tiwari, thank you so much, managing editor there, speaking to Mirror Now, explaining and analyzing this big breaking development this evening, as Mumbai Police Commissioner has been shunted out as a fallout of the arrest of Sachin Vaze, a controversial policeman who has been arrested for the murder of Mansukh Hiran and also for planting 20 gelatin sticks outside Mukesh Ambani's residence.